Hey, it's Derek. It's July 28th, and I'm trading the Twitter earnings report. I thought I would switch it on real quick to capture some of this movement. Yeah, so I got in yesterday at 34.37, 300 shares, a small position. I usually like to buy 500 or 1,000, but came into the day with, says right here, profit and loss for the day, 1,000. I mean, I literally came into the day with $100 gain, and the market sort of bouncing a little bit today, which is good, and that's why it's catching a bid and going into earnings. So yeah, I was reading some stuff earlier about how they kind of got a mulligan, which is kind of funny, meaning some analysts think that that they actually have a pass. They can kind of do whatever they want. This little spike here is what made me. That's an alert. I can turn those alerts off now that I'm watching. This little spike here made me realize I should go fire up the screen capture and try to make a video out of some of this. I don't want to be too greedy, but the stock's kind of been on its butt for a while. If I go back to the day chart, this is what we started with. The last earnings, kind of a disaster. They got the CEO, they got net monthly users. There's a lot of issues, a lot of concerns. I think where they're at now, even a halfway decent earnings call, and it should pop. The market maker move was like 450 when I put on the trade, and that was at even at whoa, I don't know what that is. Whoa, it's like the daughter's like Sesame Street music. That was wild. Yeah, it's definitely weird. It's been really hot all day. It just started pouring rain a little while ago, so it's like surreal trying to fire up, trying to get this screen capture together. So there's all this stuff going on. So net monthly users is something that they're going to be looking at. The CEO search, they got an interim, and they've been saying, we want long-term, someone who can make a full-time commitment, which kind of boxes out the guy they got now, and and then whether or not there's some surprises in play. They got some new products. The thing I've been checking out, and and again, this isn't fundamental trading in a way. It's like, it got beaten up yesterday. Let's zoom out a little bit, and you can see what I was looking at. So here's yesterday. 34. I think once it got back over, there's a little. Let's zoom in on yesterday, and you'll see what I was looking at. So here's 34.28. It sold off, got this nice little bounce, and then came back. And this whole day is pushed by China down 8% or whatever. I think once I saw this kind of volume, and then we got back above this, kind of grabbed it somewhere in this range. Yeah, 34.37. So maybe this candle. I think I grabbed it a little early. I was going to wait. Once it cleared this, I was going to wait to see if it could get above that. But I started looking further back, and it's 4:22 Eastern. I'm assuming some of this stuff is going to come out. Here's the 15-minute chart. The gray is after hours. I think the earnings call is at, it says 4. So yeah, off screen on my iPad and on a couple other things, I'm going to see, or just maybe a different screen, just see what the chatter is with on Twitter, and I mean not Twitter. Yeah, I was going to say stock twits, but yeah, Twitter essentially, because stuff. The news usually comes out pretty fast, and people who have skin in the game generally share it pretty fast too. So yeah, so 38.69, is that live? Yeah, so there's a little bit of delay with stock twits. Twitter should be down the drain, somebody wrote. That's good. People saying 423, which is a minute ago. Sell it and buy Facebook. See that actually, it doesn't give me pause. It actually, I really like to see that it's a two-sided market. If every single person was bullish, my contrarian would kick in and say, okay, hit the bid, take some profits, and get out. Which I still might do, because I don't want to be greedy here, talking about, $1,200 on 300 shares is a pretty fat gain. So people saying 50's their target number. Maybe that's a little crazy talk, but let's look at the daily chart again. So we fell from 50. There's a gap here that could be filled above 44. If the market maker move is 4.5 points, that puts us at that would get us up to 38, 39, and we're almost there now. And that's without the news. So, and again, none of this is trading advice. This is just entertainment, information only. Yeah, you can see I got a line up here, 40.25, but it's just a price level. I don't know if you can hear that thunder in the background. It's just a price level that goes back to zoom this out to the daily, and you can see what I was looking at. I kind of saw it as, this is support around that level. That was resistance to that level. We broke out on this earnings. We kind of fell off that earnings and then back underneath, and we kind of been under there. So, I guess I wouldn't really call it, support and resistance levels. It's more like a pivot. Yeah, we're already at 38.80 now. So yeah, let me just explain why I got the level 2 depth at the bottom, because I want to see, like what kind of volume is moving after hours, and whether or not this is institutional traders, whether or not it's short covering, some big volume. Looks like there's a lot of people looking to get out at $39.99. There's even people looking to cash out. It's a lot of overhead volume at 39. So, obviously, if you commit some serious cash to this, and you can sell half your position before they say one word and make a nice big fat gain, that's probably not a bad idea. But look, there's still some buyers in here. So yeah, I don't know what can happen. And at some point today, coming in only up $100, I was like, okay, well, that's my stop. I got a little buffer here, $100. If I'm wrong, 30 cents or whatever, below 34. And at one point today, it actually was down. You could have initiated this trade today and got in 34.12 and not even hold it overnight. So there's some people that bought this morning that have sort of ridden this whole move all day. So yeah, I like to see this partly because it's given me this live look at P&L. Although I'm really trying to make this about price and not really about profits. I mean, there's the thunder again. But yeah, what I was going to say is the thing I've been checking out a fair amount on Twitter that I think might solve some of their traffic issues. And again, I'm not like a long-term holder or a bull. Or whoa, look at some of that volume in here. But just kind of randomly this summer, I used the Meerkat app, which is a live video streaming app that sits up on top of Twitter. And of course, you have to have a Twitter account, and you have to have Twitter followers, and then there's Periscope, which is obviously the competitor, which is also the one that Twitter snapped up. And I have to imagine that their monthly user numbers are going to spike at least a little bit, just from the fact that they got these two new reasons for people to actually go use Twitter. Saw some live musicians on there. I saw U2, some people doing some cooking shows, some financial gurus, and some sales marketing guys. And whether these people are pounding their mailing lists saying, "Hey, you want to check me out live? Come over to Twitter, grab the Periscope app or Meerkat." All right, it's 4:30 now. I'm just kind of riffing here a little bit while we see what's going to happen. I might actually turn this over to tick chart so we can get a better idea, both volume and movement. I like 233 ticks, although it's for a lot of people it's a little scarier to kind of see the extra volatility of the bars being drawn. So yeah, I've watched a bunch of these kind of trading videos myself, and and you're sitting there and you're going, man, the guy had Derek had $1,300 a couple minutes ago, right up here at the 39 level. He should have hit the bid. Now he's at 1,100, and and that could have been the trade. But I kind of feel like I have a nice buffer. I have a decent entry. They're probably going to start talking about, I don't know where this conference call is. Of course, my iPad's dead, so I'm looking at some of this on my iPhone. I got another window open on my other screen. Yeah. The other thing I thought about doing, because I've been talking about options and about calls and whatnot. I mean, I could have gone into the volatility, the implied volatility on the 3-day and the 10-day calls was amazing, absolutely amazing, and I was really at that point where I was thinking, well, if I hedge it, sell some 40 calls 10 days out, and if it doesn't happen, at least lock in a few $100s of this. But EPS beat apparently came from cutting costs for good music for the conference call. So Twitter looking strong. So you know, I was going to hedge it, and what I found was that you know, since Twitter reports second quarter loss. Loss of 136, loss of 21, adjusted 7. So the analyst surveyed expected 5 cents a share, adjusted 7 cents, revenue 502 million, expected 487. Yeah, so live blog. All right, so yeah, now they're saying that the earnings report conference call expected to begin at 5 p.m. Eastern. While Twitter beat on the top and bottom line, it's noteworthy that the loss improved just marginally to a loss of 137 million from 145. CapEx cuts. It's a good thing that Twitter's becoming better at monetizing users. It's still on a roller coaster. All right, well, you know, I'm not going to do another 25-minute video to capture some of this, and so that I'm not a completely greedy bastard. I might hit the bid and take my $1,300 and go make dinner. Especially if the you know, and you would say, oh, why wouldn't you hold this? And it's like, well, you know, we're in the middle of a 2-day Fed meeting. This is kind of like a relief rally in the whole market. You know, could it rip higher tomorrow? Sure. Could the Fed say something and, you know, pull the whole market into the doldrums, and then this gets muted anyways? Yeah, maybe. So, you know, it's sort of, at some point, it's got to be bird in the hand, you know, and I got to decide, you know, I got to decide where that line in the sand is and say, you know, like, you know, get out of the volatility and actually just, you know, take this money to the bank and call it a day. So, all right, well, thank you so much. Thanks for checking this out. You know, usually, I'll end with this and say, usually when I trade earnings, you know, I do them with options. You know, I either you know, on the spike in volatility, you know, I'll sell strangles, or you know, maybe some condors, or, you know, just find a way to take advantage of that, you know, the increased volatility. So, but yeah, thanks for checking this out. You know, please hit subscribe. I'm going to throw some stuff up every once in a while. And if you have any questions, you know, hit me up in the comments. And yeah, good luck with your trading. And hopefully everybody caught a piece of this Twitter move. All right, take care.